Market update here on the 11th. So I've been traveling a lot, so I haven't been able to make videos lately, and I haven't been able to trade earlier today either. Charles Schwab went down for 45 minutes after the open. I was trying to trade for like an hour before my flight, but so there's been a lot of issues going on, a lot of things, distractions for doing charts, so haven't really been into it lately, but I'm trying to get back into it this week. We have CPI tomorrow. So let's see what the charts are saying here. Looking at the weekly time frame on SPY, you can see we're getting overextended here. And I'll just say that over the next month, probably throughout June, I'm going to start being more cautious overall. I think that July could be the top in the market until the election. And I just don't see that many good plays to put my money into anymore. I see some flow on Black Box, but I don't see anything that's really piquing my interest at all. So over the next month or so, I'm probably going to be scaling out a lot more and being a lot more cautious, because when we do pull back, we could pull back hard, and I don't want to be caught in any kind of growth stocks or anything like that that's going to fall hard. So we haven't hit my target though on the dollar, so it's possible we get this parabolic pump too. But I'm thinking that that might happen after the election now. So let's get into SPY first. You can see on the weekly, this is getting overextended. And when we get up here to 2 standard deviations, it usually sells off. And we'd be there at 560 in July. So now going down to the daily, I think that we are finishing up the third wave here. So I think this is actually third wave, and I'd be looking for a pullback for the fourth wave and then go for a fifth wave higher into July. So I think that 560 would be a good, that was my target originally anyway. I think 560 could be a good target. And if you get out at 560 and it keeps on going higher, then you're probably not going to miss out on that much. We're getting overextended pretty much every time frame. And so on the hourly, it pumped today from 532 all the way to 537. You can see here on the hourly, we're getting overextended now. So maybe a move up here to 538, 539, and then start a fourth wave. And then probably one more gigantic pump up here to 560 is what I'm looking for. So that's SPY. Let's go over Apple now. Apple is the same thing. I think it's in the very end stages of its move, going all the way back 30 years. I think this is about finished. And you can see it. The growth is slowing down. They're starting to pump it off of AI nonsense, like Elon criticizing them, and they pump it. So I already have it drawn up here. This is my final wave higher. Potentially a pullback and then one more move higher. Maybe it hits 220. And then I think it's done. I think it's ready for it to pull back. And then who knows where it goes from there. We have to wait till it pulls back. But I think there's one more pullback and one more pump, and then Apple is finished. Microsoft, I think it could be in a third wave here, or it's the final move higher as well. My original target was 480. That might have to happen for SPY to go all the way up to 560. That'd be about a 5% move for SPY. Yeah, about 5%. So I think that Microsoft's going to have to pump at least probably, it's going to have to, Apple and Microsoft are going to have to pump a bunch. I'm not sure if NVIDIA is going to go much higher here. The split was kind of a sign that it's probably topped out. They might suck some more people in, but I think that NVIDIA is about finished as well. So I'm not seeing very many good plays in the market too. That's another reason why I'm going to start scaling out. I just don't really see any reason to be in anything. They're all pumped like crazy. And if it takes another 6 months, then what can you do? So what I think is going to happen, I think that they're going to pump Tesla, which I know that sounds kind of crazy. They're actually going to pump Tesla. And I think AMD can go up to 180. So that'd be about a 10% pump as well, maybe 190. And BA maybe 200. So Tesla, I made a video yesterday and it invalidated that move. It came all the way down here to 167 today. And the thing about this that kind of sucks is that ruined that move that I had in that video. Now you're probably looking at just something back up here to the top. If it pumps, maybe the top of like mid to high 180s. And I'd be looking at this potentially as ABC like that. And then maybe another move lower. Unfortunately, that's what it looks like to me. It doesn't look like it's going to pump up here to 240 anymore. It had a chance with the triangle that I laid out in the video yesterday. But the fact that it came all the way down here to the bottom here, and this is corrective, and this is corrective, you're probably only going to get a move up here for a C wave now. So I'd be ready to sell probably all my calls if it hit 185, 190. And that means that this could potentially also, and I could be wrong about this if they have some crazy news or parabolic pump off of him getting his pay package, but the structure does not look good to me anymore. If this was going to pump from here, it did hold the low. This was a corrective move itself. This is corrective move. So it doesn't make sense for this to pump up to 240 anymore. So best case scenario, or like most likely scenario, is this. And then it goes higher. That's what I see now. So unfortunately, not working out how I thought it would. It's probably going to take a lot longer. And this could last. This could last into maybe earnings. So maybe earnings will be the catalyst. We'll see. But if it goes up here to 185, 190, it's probably going to be a sell. This is a 2-day supply zone. And then I'd be looking for a pullback back into this demand zone. And then I'd buy again right here. And then it probably would be enough time for it to pump for the next move higher. So overall, still bullish, but it might take a little bit longer than I originally thought, unfortunately. So that's still a pretty good move, though. If it hits 185, 190, that's a over 10% move. That's a 10 to 15% move. So we'll see what happens with the pay package, but I think it's probably going to be bullish overall. If for some reason it falls lower on the pay package down here, let's say it goes to 160, 156, 160-ish. Then that could be the end of the C wave. It'd be a very weird C wave because you see right here, I guess, yeah, I don't think that this is a very good impulse move down. It's more like an ABC move, so it looks more like a B wave to me. But if it does fall down here to 160, I'd be buying again. Because then that could be the completion of this move. It could be a WXY move then. WXY like that. These would all be ABCs, so this would be A, B, C like that. And I guess SPY, though, is kind of on the same alignment for this to fall to 160. So maybe this does fall to 160 and then they pump it for SPY's last move higher. And QQQ's last move higher. So if they do drop it down to 160 by Friday or sometime early next week, then it's a buy all day down here in my opinion. Because after that, I think it's pumping. So that's Tesla. Let's look at AMD. I think that this is going to go higher. It's just, I've seen a lot of bullish flow on it. And I think that this is an ABC move. So I think it's probably going up here to 190. This right here is definitely corrective. So you can see here, ABC down, bounce, A, lower low, lower high, lower low, but it hit my target actually at 157. I got that from this, or from right there. So 157 got hit. I think that it might have bottomed. Let's zoom in a little bit farther, and yeah, I like it overall. It's right into this demand zone as well. This is a daily demand. No, it's not. It's not daily demand. It's a 2-day, I think. I mean, it's 4 hour actually. So there's a demand zone down here at 153, and there's a gap there. So if it does go lower, 153 is in play down here to fill the gap. But after that, I'm bullish. Regardless if it goes to 153, it's still going to go all the way up to 185 minimum. So you can see here, it's basically at the bottom of the standard deviations as well. They need to pump this up here, maybe even to 200, probably like 190 before they can do another sell-off. It's too low to sell off more from here. It's ready to pump back up here to like 180, 190. So bullish on that, bullish on Tesla. Nvidia neutral right now. Bullish, bullish. SPY bullish, but might pull back here soon. QQQ, same thing. Looks like it's about to start a fourth wave. I'd be looking for something like that. Maybe it hits 500. Probably will hit 500 to be honest. BA, I'm just looking for this to hit 200 and I'd be shorting it all day. That's weekly supply. It did pull back quite a bunch today. Quite a bit today. But I'm just waiting for this right here. That area right there is a short. I do think that it can go all the way up here to 240 before falling, but I do, it doesn't really matter. 200, I'm shorting because that's a pretty big move from bottom to top. You're outside the standard deviation. You're at 3 standard deviations. It'd be ready for a pullback at that point. So now let's look at the flow. Tesla first. I'm going to do over 500,000 above the ask. So what do I see? Okay, that's probably not that's not good. So at 1107, but that might have been closed out. Where did it go to? What was the low today? Like 167. 0 IV, obviously, it's way in the money. So whenever I see above the ask, I don't like that because that means that they're buying the puts, and that's a pretty big buy. So I don't like that right there. That could mean it's going to 160. But then you also have above the ask 500,000 at 171. Let's go to 200,000. And you're seeing a mix here. But the last two were bought at the low of the day above the ask at the low of the day. 155 by 628. So those are definitely puts. But then you have these puts as well, 185 calls. They're bought at 170. So what that tells me is I wouldn't be surprised if it pumps a little bit tomorrow and then maybe sells off after that. Kind of a mixture, but I'm seeing more premium in puts. So kind of a mixture on Tesla. Let's go over SPY. SPY above the ask. You're looking at a lot of puts, barely any calls, but it keeps on going higher. This was bought at 536, 980,000, 520 strike. So that's a pretty big premium. That's the highest of the day. Yeah, highest of the day. So we could be ready to fall tomorrow. We could be looking at that fourth wave happening where this moves all the way down here to Let's see. It would have to move all the way down to. You could be looking at like the low 530s, I would say. That makes a lot of sense with that option flow. Apple, I really should have played Apple. It had a lot of calls, like above the ask, like crazy, and it still does. Here at 206, look at that. 1.8 million above the ask at 206. So Apple is still bullish, like I said. It's probably going to have a minimal pullback and another move higher. Microsoft didn't have any today. NVIDIA probably had a ton. And NVIDIA, you're seeing above the ask a bunch, and I've been seeing them loading them. So I could be wrong about this being the top. They've been loading these calls the last couple of days. A 150 call. So yeah, NVIDIA looks pretty good, and now you have a 614.24, 119 call, 2.2 million at 120.81, and that's basically where it closed at. NVIDIA might pump tomorrow too, if it keeps on going higher. And AMD had none above 500,000 today. Yesterday it did. Okay. BA, nothing. QQQ. And QQQ is the same thing as SPY. Basically, you have a big premium buy, basically at the high of the day, 1.14 million. And so, yeah, I mean the options they give you an idea of what's going on, but I also use technical analysis, obviously, and I use that over anything. Technical analysis over anything. The flow can kind of be sketchy sometimes. Like on PayPal, I saw a ton above the ask, and I still did today. But it was down earlier in the day. Where's it at now? So yeah, it's at 64.77, but you saw they bought at 66.89, 5 million above the ask. So these are for 2026, so they're not very accurate. They don't care. They're just loading them up, loading them up, loading them up. If they're shorter term, then you probably notice a little bit more because the stock's going to move whatever they're doing for shorter time frames. But we see 618.26. They're just building that up for the move that's going to happen over the next couple of years. So I'm not going to go over PayPal. I don't really like PayPal, but it could go to 72 bucks. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Let me look at IWM. That's good to see. It's been getting a lot of puts on it. If you're watching this and you're a SoFi person, then let's just see if they got anything today. Nope. SoFi is just in the doghouse forever. It's crazy. Just downtrend. One thing that's crazy about SoFi, Tesla and SoFi have basically the same chart. Like, since December, they've just gone straight down. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Basically, summary of this video is that I'm going to start scaling out of my stocks probably within the next month. Doesn't mean I won't be long some of them, but we're getting to the top or getting close to the top in all of these stocks, in my opinion. I think Tesla will still pump at some point to 220, 240, something like that this year. AMD is going to hit 180. Apple will probably hit 220. Microsoft might hit 470, 480. SPY maybe 560. And NVIDIA, I'm not sure on. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe for more updates. And I'll probably start doing a little bit more regular videos now that I am going to be in one place and not be traveling around as much. That's it for this one. Have a good night.